Donald Trump's administration just pulled off one of the dumbest layoffs in history. They accidentally fired the people in charge of America's nuclear weapons, and now they can't even find them to tell them they're rehired. This real-life plot twist is brought to you by Elon Musk's cost-cutting agency, DOGE, which was created to reduce government inefficiency. Well, mission accomplished. The US nuclear arsenal is now officially being run like Twitter after Elon Musk's takeover. Mass firings, desperate rehires, and total chaos.
As President Trump and Elon Musk escalate plans to downsize the federal government, confusion about who has a job and who doesn't. NBC News obtaining an email trying to unfire employees at the National Nuclear Security Administration, saying in part the termination letters for some NNSA probationary employees are being rescinded. Officials admitting they do not have a good way to get in touch with those personnel. Musk telegraphing last week that he could falter in his effort to crush fraud, waste, and abuse.
We are moving fast, so we will make mistakes, but we'll also fix the mistakes very quickly.
You sure about that?
Trump and Elon's stupidity was ridiculed online. U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar tweeted, a CNN headline for the ages. Trump officials fire nuclear staff, not realizing they oversee the country's weapons stockpile, sources say. Trump's Department of Energy fired 300 employees from the National Nuclear Security Administration, or NNSA, the agency that oversees the U.S. nuclear stockpile. Except there was one small problem. Trump and Elon's people didn't realize that's what the NNSA does.
Who'd have thought a nuclear reactor would be so complicated?
So in their blind rush to cut costs and own the libs, they fired the people responsible for keeping our nukes safe, including those working on the ground at facilities where nuclear weapons are literally built and inspected.
Whoopsies.
And because Trump's incompetence knows no bounds, this all went down the same day Russia hit the Chernobyl power plant with a drone strike.
The Ukrainian military claims Russia fired 133 drones at Ukraine overnight. This comes as President Trump says the Russian President Vladimir Putin is ready for peace talks. Zelensky tweeted overnight that these attacks show, quote, Putin is definitely not preparing for negotiations. He's preparing to continue deceiving the world.
The very agency that tracks nuclear risks and secures nuclear material was suddenly short-staffed because Donald Trump and Elon Musk wanted to save a buck. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is spending millions to drive around the track at Daytona 500. Way to save us taxpayers some money. So in response to the firings, Congress is freaking out because it appears DOE didn't realize NNSA oversees the nuclear stockpile. This is about when I'd imagine that someone in the Trump administration would stop and say, wait, did we just lay off the people guarding our nukes? And by Friday morning, they were in full-blown panic mode, scrambling to undo their mistake. After realizing they accidentally gutted nuclear security, NNSA officials had one job: bring those employees back ASAP. Except there was one huge problem. They had already locked them out of their emails.
What an idiot.
So in a stunning display of government efficiency, NNSA had to send out an internal email begging their employees to track down their former coworkers. According to the email, they said, the termination letters for some NNSA probationary employees are being rescinded, but we do not have a good way to get in touch with those personnel. Translation: hey, so remember Bob from Nuclear Safety? Well, if anyone happens to have his number, let him know that he's still employed. NNSA employees were cut off faster than one of Elon Musk's baby mamas asking for child support. No warning, no communication, just gone. Their email access was dropped like Elon's interest in co-parenting. Just search Ashley St. Clair on Twitter. It's a Valentine's Day gift that just keeps on giving. And based on that laugh, it makes a lot of sense why Elon Musk is allegedly a 53-year-old virgin. Anyway, in case it wasn't clear, this is not how you want your nuclear safety agency to operate. And this completely avoidable disaster spiraled out of control. The Department of Energy scrambled to downplay the chaos. The Department of Energy tried to smooth things over by claiming only 50 people were fired, totally contradicting reports of 300 layoffs.
300 people who manage America's nuclear weapons. So these are incredibly specific technical jobs. They get terminated in this effort to shrink the government, and then they get brought back once somebody goes, whoa, wait a minute, all cuts aren't the same, this is a problem. What's your reaction when when you hear how all this went down?
Well, I guess my first reaction is I hope they actually do go back. I think they're not under any obligation to. And my second is that It speaks to this sort of ethos that we've seen to all of this cutting, which is that it is cutting for cutting's sake. It is, we're going to reduce the number of employees we have, we're going to reduce the number of programs, we're going to reduce the amount of humanitarian aid, scientific research, you name it, just to hit a number. And in the process of hitting that number, if we lose really critical things, really important missions, really important research, if we lose the people who oversee the nuclear stockpile, so be it. I'm glad that they are trying to reverse this. I hope they're able to. But I think that this is what is happening in every agency across the government. It's just a very highly visible, critical example of it.
Right. But of course, the point being that, sometimes being glib about what you're going to do needs to be followed up with careful, thoughtful decisions.
But here's where it gets even worse. Political appointees pressured HR officials to mark employees as poor performers to justify the firings. I mean, just think about that. Trump's administration was so desperate to cover their tracks that they tried to retroactively make up performance issues for nuclear safety workers after firing them. This isn't government efficiency, this is criminally stupid. Your nighttime bedroom temperature has a huge impact on your sleep quality. If you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Miracle Made sheets are inspired by NASA and use silver-infused fabrics that are temperature regulating so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. Miracle sheets are luxuriously comfortable and feel as nice, if not nicer, than sheets used by some 5-star hotels. Stop sleeping on bacteria. Bacteria can clog pores, causing breakouts and acne. Sleep clean with Miracle. Upgrade your sleep this year. Go to trymiracle.com/Gabe to try Miracle sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo Gabe at checkout, you'll get a free 3-piece towel set and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Gabe and use promo code Gabe to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40%. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Gabe to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. And then by Sunday, just 3 days after the original firings occurred, it was reported that the Trump administration had reversed the firings of all but 28 of the nuclear weapons workers that DOGE blindly cut. One of the hardest hit offices was the Plantex plant near Amarillo, Texas, which saw about 30% of the cuts. Those employees work on reassembling warheads, one of the most sensitive jobs across the nuclear weapons enterprise with the highest levels of clearance. And wouldn't you know it, drunk pill mill MAGA Congressman Ronnie Jackson, who is pro-DOGE, represents that district. Awkward! Daryl Kimball, executive director of the Arms Control Association, stated, "The DOGE people are coming in with absolutely no knowledge of what these departments are responsible for. They don't seem to realize that it's actually the Department of Nuclear Weapons more than it is the Department of Energy." U.S. Representative Marcy Kaptur of Ohio and U.S. Senator Patty Murray of Washington, both Democrats, called the firings utterly callous and dangerous. And if you're wondering why the world's wealthiest tech bro is in charge of nuclear policy, you're not alone. Democratic Representative Jason Crow said, "The Trump administration fired the U.S. nuclear staff not realizing they oversee the country's entire weapons stockpile. This isn't government efficiency, it's incompetence. They are making America less safe." Meanwhile, Trump is saying this.
We were talking about denuking, denuking, and President Putin and I agreed that we were going to do it in a very big way. There's no reason for us to be building brand new nuclear weapons. We already have so many, you could destroy the world 50 times over, 100 times over. And here we are building new nuclear weapons, and they're building nuclear weapons, and China's building new nuclear weapons, and China's trying to catch up because, they're very substantially behind, but within 5 or 6 years, they'll be even. And we're all spending a lot of money that we could be spending on other things that are actually hopefully much more productive. Hopefully there'll never be a time when we need those weapons. If there's ever a time when we need nuclear weapons, like the kind of weapons that we're building and that Russia has and that China has to a lesser extent but will have, that's going to be a very sad day. That's going to be probably oblivion.
Look, I appreciate not wanting to go full Dr. Strangelove, but maybe don't start nuclear disarmament by firing the people who keep the existing nukes from blowing up accidentally. At this rate, Trump's nuclear policy isn't about deterrence, it's about seeing who can ride the last warhead into the apocalypse with the most enthusiasm. The fallout, no pun intended, isn't over. NNSA is still trying to figure out how many employees will return, Congress is demanding investigations into the firings, and lawsuits are piling up as Trump's mass layoffs across multiple agencies face legal challenges. And let's not forget, all of this happened within 30 days of Trump taking office for his second term. At this rate, we're 6 months away from Trump accidentally selling Alaska back to Russia to cut costs. If you were wondering what a Trump-Musk efficient government looks like, here it is. Lay off crucial employees, realize you just fired the people guarding our nukes, panic, beg them to come back but lose their contact info, try to cover it up by faking poor performance files, and then cause national security chaos. This isn't The Apprentice, this is nuclear security, and thanks to Donald Trump and Elon Musk's cost-cutting reality show, the people protecting America's nukes might not even come back. And if that doesn't scare you, I don't know what will. Well, that's today's episode. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel at I Am Gabe Sanchez. And if you want to support me and my show, you can join my Substack at iamgabesanchez.substack.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the audio version of What Was That on your favorite podcast platform. Perfect for when you're on the go or just relaxing at home. Until next time, I'm Gabe Sanchez, and this has been What Was That?